beautiful people? Happy Friday. Happy halfway through June. I hope that you are enjoying the beginning of summer or winter, wherever you are in the world. And I just wanted to hop on here because as I started writing the email, just like all these things came through, and I feel like it would just be easier to share it with you guys. So I have been asked a lot recently, like, when did these gifts turn on? And like, why all of a sudden are you able to do this stuff? And I kind of caught myself like almost like not giving the full story, right? Like, yes, it's been recently, like in the last few months, that I've given myself permission to be this powerful and like not worry as much about people saying like weird things like, I don't understand how you can do this, like this is witchcraft, like all the witch wound stuff that like has freaked me out my whole life. Because I'm working through that, and especially this week I've been doing the 2B magnetic um inner child and shadow work like repeatedly, because I've been getting a lot of signs from the universe that I need to allow another death and rebirth. I've had a beautiful cute little snake show up, and he's like my little messenger of like, do the damn thing, let's do this next phase of growth, right? And like, if you're watching this, you're probably one of my like legit people, and you know that like business for me in my personal life is always going to follow my growth in my business life, because to me they're the same, right? Like the mission is the most important thing. So the real story of when these gifts turned on. So if you've been in my world for a while, or you've listened to some of the other interviews I've done, you know that I grew up in Maine, and I was very, very outdoorsy. So I was like always playing outside, like literally until I was forced to come inside at night because it was too dark. And I went to college. I was like definitely a big party girl, still a big party girl the first couple of years that I lived in Atlanta, which would have been 2008 to 2010, 2011. So basically, when I started working at the brain psychiatry practice, like that's when I started like getting my shit together, right? And that was 2011. So when I look back, and I've been asking for clarity around this. And I mean, there were times where someone would trip and fall and like scrape their knee really bad as a little kid playing. And I just had this confidence, like, if you just let me put my hands on it and like let me say some kind things to your knee, I know that at least it will not feel as painful. And then like, as we, when we go home to like tell your parents and like, do the antiseptic and the Band-Aid and stuff, at least you're not in pain by the time we get there. And so all of these stories are kind of coming back, and someone had a pretty significant concussion in college. I went to college in Maine. It snows a lot, Jägermeister in an icy driveway don't mix. And so there would be times where people would slip and fall. And again, totally part of why I was a brain healer for so long. Like, I just wasn't doing the brain healing in the way that I can now, right? Which is through energy healing. And there were just so many times where I was like, just let me, like, please just let me like touch your head, or at least go near your head, so that I can at least like try to feel like I'm helping you, right? But I went in with full confidence. I was just kind of like stumbling because I was scared of what they were going to think subconsciously, but consciously I'm like, this person's fucking trash. Like they don't know this is happening. I mean, 2 New Year's Eves ago, someone fell from the top of a stairwell to cement on his back, to the point where I was like, I don't know if he's alive. And then again, weird situation. He happens to fall at my friend's house, who lives next to an ex-boyfriend who I had this like crazy like witch wound trigger around. It was like, I asked for, at that time, it was 2023 to be very different. And clearly that happened, because this is at like, I think it was like 11:45 p.m. on New Year's Eve that this happened. And I didn't go near the guy, right? Because we were waiting for the ambulance and stuff. And I was like, if he broke his neck, like I'm not, So I literally just like intentionally like stuck my hands up and pretended that pure, perfect divine light from the quantum field and angels are streaming through my fingers. And like, even when I say that, like I can feel it happening right now. And I just said like, whatever is meant to happen for him, like, please just make sure it's for the highest and best. And please remove any blocks that may be hindering him from feeling his best. Cause he was very, very drunk. And like the way that he was talking, I started thinking like, oh my God, was that actually like a suicide attempt? Like he was saying some like very mean things about himself. And so I was just like asking like, if it's for his highest and best, like please angels, like send him what he needs. He ended up being totally fine. The EMS people said it was absolutely insane that he was okay. They're like, you should definitely have a broken back, broken neck, or be dead. And like, he literally just walked away. So very, very crazy. And then there's been times too where I was partying, and the reason I'm sharing this part is because, you know, what alcohol does to the frontal lobes, it shuts them down, which is why you make more impulsive decisions. Maybe, you know, I always joke that like if you wrote your resume drunk, you'd be like, I am so fucking awesome. Like these are the cool things that I've done. Like you can have more grandiose thoughts, right? And so for me, that was the spirit's way of communicating with me. Like you have these gifts and we know you're only going to start using them if we put you in a situation where you're going to do that. And I remember being at this really swanky club in Atlanta. And this is only a few years ago. So I was, you know, definitely out of that scene. I was with a bunch of like 20 somethings, like, and I was just like, I'm just going to pretend to be 22 today and I'm just going to have fun. And one of the girls who was, she was a model. She was a Nigerian model, like legit, like for all these magazines and stuff. Like, and it was just like, it was really crazy being in her presence. Cause I'm like, whoa, like you're so beautiful. Like I can't stop staring at you. And of course she decided to sit across from me. And then all of a sudden, like we're getting our food. It was like tapas and stuff. And like she hit her, actually I can give you a prime example. So we have like a plate and like she like hit it or something like that with her nail, and then broke her nail. And like it was a fake nail and it broke like halfway through. And I just immediately am like in pain for this girl. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We're literally about to go out to this other place. Like it's your best friend's birthday. Like I don't want, you know what I mean? And so I looked at her and I just said, give me your hand. And so she gave me her hand and I just put my hands on it and I said this little prayer. And then she went like this and she's like, the pain's gone. And I was like, amazing. And I just totally brushed it off. Like it was totally fucking normal that I did that, right? When it's like totally not normal. I even had a friend, we were at a restaurant, ironically, like in the same neighborhood. That's weird. All these stories are in the same neighborhood. Okay. And she was really cold. And it's like, you can't complain about the temperature in a restaurant. As someone who was a restaurant manager and a bartender and a server for a long time, you thinking that you can change the temperature by asking the manager is not a good idea, just letting you know. So knowing that, and her knowing she's like one of my best friends, my soul sister, I can literally tell her anything and she totally just believes me. So I was like, just give me your hands. Like, let me see if I can send you some heat. And especially me, like I usually run hot anyway. And I did. And again, like I was drinking and I just was like, I can totally do this. This is totally fine. So then, you know, when I did that retreat in September with Christina Rice, like that really catapulted a lot of things, right? So that's been, you know, 9 months or something. Catapulted a lot of the permission for the gifts, exposing me to a lot of people like her who make a lot of money using their gifts. And so it's been just this progression and this progression. And I'm sitting here in my best friend's dining room. I'm not in Hawaii yet. And just even like having to surrender to that. And I just kind of a couple weeks ago put my hands up and I just said like, all right, like whatever your plan is, like make it known, make it clear, and like I will do it. And again, if you've been in my world for a while, you know that rebranding is like a whole thing with me. And so I'm like, I mean, is this like a situation where I have to like update my website again for like literally like the millionth time? And they're like, yeah. I was like, I'm shocked you want me to update my website again, but okay. They're like, we want you to focus only on this. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you're charging. And like, we're just going to let the energy flow and we're going to see what opens up for you. And just the few people who have already taken advantage of the offer, which is immediate healing for $188. It's been, I mean, the feedback I'm getting is amazing, but I also, part of my lesson was like releasing the needing to know and just being like, okay, if I was that confident before when I really was not in a good space, like with my own heart and like with my own confidence, and now like doing a lot of the fast track stuff I've been doing the last 2 months. If you want to know more about what I've been doing, just let me know. I was like, okay, so like this is the thing, right? So I'm on these podcast summits, etc. That was the original reason I wanted to get on here and explain this to you. Because you'd be like, oh, like when did your gifts turn on? Right. And like it's a question that I ask my guests on my podcast. And it just kept coming up and kept coming up and kept coming up. And it's like, okay, this is why I need to reflect on me and my truth. And my truth is, since I was a little girl, I have been healing people with my hands and with my mind. It's just, I had to go through the journey that I went through, which is, virtually any problem that someone is having, I can tell them exactly what they need to do holistically, Eastern, Western medicine, what to do. I had to learn all of those things and now put them on a different platter. I guess I'm surrounded by plates. I'm just like in the energy of plates and platters right now. And just be like, yeah. And like, if people want just straight up knowledge, they have all of the freebies that you can access on my YouTube and my website and things like that. But I had to learn that for myself. And I had to really learn and trust that like my energy and my hands and my thoughts and my connection to the quantum realm and the angels, specifically to me, my livelihood is about healing, straight up healing, immediate healing, knowing that the right people are going to say yes and show up. So just wanted to share that because I thought it was really more so for me. And like, obviously this is on my YouTube and I'm going to let anyone and their mom watch it because I think it's important. And even just, I don't know what you're experiencing, and please obviously reply the email, let me know what popped up for you. But like, I am like the last few days since I've been like really reflecting on this, stepping into it, doing the healings for other people, me receiving a lot of clearing and alignment, the snake showing up, the white butterfly hitting me in the face yesterday when I asked for a sign. I literally just feel this like pulsing, like I feel like this all the time. So I'm curious if you're feeling that, because I'm just like in such a different space and it's so freaking cool. And so I'm pulsing like this, right? And like one of the things that I've been focusing on is laying in the grass for longer periods of time. In Georgia, this time of year, it's just really, really hot. So it's hard to find grass that's like softer, right? And so like I get kind of itchy, and then I'm like, I need to stay here. Mother Earth wants me to, and I don't want to be on a blanket. I'm going through this whole thing in my head. And I finally was just like, well, I'm just gonna like lay in the grass, and if I feel itchy, like whatever, I'll put on a shirt. It's fine. And so I'm like probably in there for like 10 minutes. And all of a sudden I'm like, this is the pulsing I'm feeling, like the earth. Like I'm literally pulsing with the earth. Like how freaking cool is that? Because if you saw my last email, I told you I won a free reading, actually won two free readings on Monday, right after I had a paid reading with someone who's like amazing and is helping me with some serious past life stuff. And she's like, what do you really, 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 really want to do? And I said, I want to heal lands. And it just like came out of my mouth. Like I didn't say heal people. I didn't say heal animals, which are things that I want to do and I do. But I'm like, I want to heal lands. And so me putting that out into the universe, honoring my gifts, journaling. I'm going to show you my new journal. Is there nothing better than like the first page of a new journal? I mean, nothing better. And this is like $1 or something, like crazy, but I love it. I love the pages being different colors. So when I go to a new color and I'm turning that page, like I'm like literally turning a new page. It's just like really, really cool. But yeah, I'm like, I want to heal lands. I want to be connected with Earth and Gaia. And like, since I set that intention on Monday, it's happening because I'm doing my healing, right? I'm being of service, right? Like Earth is like, hell yeah, like I'm pulsing with you, girl. Like that's what you're feeling in the energy. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to clear. Just soak it in and like have fun and like do what you want to do. Right. So thought that was cool. I did want to share a couple things because I picked some cards for us, and someone listening needs to have some brain balancing. And so I have a couple of things you can do. One is, and I mean, this is good for anybody. And my friend did it when she had COVID a couple years ago, and I told her to do it, and it like helped a lot with her, her COVID stuff. So you close your eyes, and then you're going to move your eyes from left to right 10 times. And then you're going to pause, and you're going to be present of the middle of your forehead. And the hope is that you're allowing brain balancing to occur, and you're opening and strengthening your third eye. Because if you look at a diagram of the brain, the third eye, if it's a actual rod, goes right through the center of your head. And in the middle is your pineal gland, and like all of the things related to your limbic system and your amygdala. So again, like went through this journey of like really understanding the brain for doing this spiritual work. Super cool. Okay. So left to right 10 times, pausing, present. Then you're going to do, again, eyes closed, right to left 10 times, and then being present of your forehead. And then you're going to do the infinity symbol. So like the 8 from left to right. And then you're going to stop, be present with your forehead. Then you're going to do an infinity right to left. And that is the one really, really fast, easy way to do some brain balancing. And then another thing that you can do, I like this because I'm very tactile. That's why I love working with Tracy L. Clark, because I like moving energy with my hands. So you're just going to literally tap one side, back and forth, and just being like super present with it. And then if you want to do some real intense brain balancing and strengthen your cells, you can actually create new cells in your cerebellum in the back of your head. You're going to put your hands down. I'm telling you, there's a reason I did my video in the dining room surrounded by plates. So you're going to put it at the bottom, like on a table, and you're going to lift one finger at a time in a row and then back. I'm actually getting really good at this, and I'm like so pumped because, to be honest, my brain is freaking awesome. That's really, really, really helpful. It's much harder than it looks, and especially one hand and one finger is going to be harder than the other. But the more that you do that, it's going to help a lot with the brain balancing. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I just wanted to remind you of how important the grounding is. 20 minutes of laying on the earth can literally change your entire life. And if you are a mom and a wife, your health and your energy predicts the energy and health of your entire family, whether it's conscious, subconscious, known or unknown. And so, when I was doing working more with families, which I'm still open to do that. If you want to do family coaching with me, obviously just let me know. But I always started with the mom, and I'm like, you are the center of the family. Like your thoughts, actions, behavior dictate your family. And I know that's a lot of pressure, but that's the whole gift of being a mom, right? Like that's the gift of being a mother, a divine masculine. And part of that is connecting with your mother, who is the earth. And so I would have the mom, I'm like, non-negotiable, like you lay in the grass or walk barefoot in the grass 20 minutes every single day. And I want you in your mind, or if you want to chart and get a fun little journal, 10 things about yourself that you would like to get better, and then other things that as a loving wife and mom you worry about with your kids. And I want you to actually witness the transformation that happens in just 2 weeks of you being in the grass for 20 minutes a day. And I want you to actually notice, and again, like quantitative data is helpful for a lot of people, what shifts and changes. And then, I mean, that's like my secret. It's one of my coaching secrets. Like it changes everything. It really, really, really does. And then if you're doing the human design and you're implementing that into your relationships, that changes everything, right? Like so freaking cool. So those are just a couple additional things that I wanted to share because Tracy L. Clark's cards told me this is what y'all needed. But I'm just sending you so much love, and I appreciate you listening and watching, because this was really for me. And it's funny because when I was originally going to write all of this, if you can imagine, I was like, damn, I was like, how many more spiritual closets do I need to come out of? And I laughed because I was not asking I wasn't asking my spirit team or angels. I was like, I'm asking me as a conscious human, being a human, which is hard sometimes. And I was like, done. Like, I'm not coming out of any more spiritual closets. Like, this is it. If any more gifts turn on, like, it's just going to be something that is exciting that you guys can witness. Because I mean, my life goals have changed. Like, my goals are to talk to trees and to be a clear animal communicator before Archer passes, so that he can actually talk to me and I can understand him. Like, those are my life goals, right? Like, the money comes later, the relationship comes later. Like, me being of service is really me connecting with all that is. And you being a part of my community is a huge, huge, huge piece of that. I'm getting the message, but it hasn't solidified yet. I think because there's so much influx of like when I'm going to be going to Hawaii and stuff. But I do want to have a community forum. You know, I'm really just moving toward only doing Instagram and my podcast, and then, you know, obviously like emails to you guys. But I really want us to have a more personal space. And then that can also help you, like, if you want to learn more about brain balancing, like, there's a dashboard for that. If you want to do group energy healings, like, you know, obviously I'm not going to charge like an arm and a leg for the community. It'd be a monthly container. But like doing group healing sessions. And then like, if we want to do something like this, where I just pull cards and then, you know, provide you with whatever comes through. So that is something that like I know is coming. So just stay tuned for that. And if you get any messages for me about that, obviously let me know. It's just honestly the timing. That's really what it is. I'm just waiting for, I have all of the stuff on the back end ready to go. So could be tomorrow, could be in 3 months, who knows? But I'm so grateful for you. I love you. I hope you have a beautiful, amazing weekend. And if you want to do an immediate healing session with me, please do so. The links are highlighted in blue in the email copy. And then obviously you can always go to fallonjordan.com. There's the immediate healing session. There's the coaching sessions, and then there's the human design reading. If you do a 2-hour coaching call, I will already, like, the human design reading is included, and we will do a healing session live together as well. So it's really just a matter of like what you want to spend, what you feel like you require at this time, and whatever spirit is leading you to. But I'm just so grateful for you, and I hope to hear from you soon.